Now we have these machines, and they can take all that boring stuff away and let us focus on the really difficult problems.
Do you see human-computer like augmentation in this realm as kind of like the future and required knowledge or abilities going forward in CTFs?
Absolutely. I mean, the more I work on our system and look at DEF CON coming up, I just keep thinking, man, like our CRS does these awesome fast decisions, fast patches, fast exploitation, and as a human, there's no way I can keep up with that. And trying to do some of this stuff without having our CRS or something like it, it's hard to imagine going back. It's like going back to the Stone Ages almost.
Just the other day, Void Alpha, the company that actually created all these visualizations, the Filament View and the Arena View, they open source that code, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's on their GitHub right now. You can go to github.com/voidalpha and download Haxis, which is the tool that generates these. And there's even some talk about doing a 3D version. We've been able to try out the beta and go into the matrix, as it were, and manipulate, look around, get inside one of those filaments.
Yeah, that is unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I've heard a lot about, which I think is really interesting, is the corpus of the challenges.
Yeah.
20 of them were solved. That means there were 62 more that were not solved. And we have this standardized code base. There's patches available for all of them. There's POVs available for all of them. It just begs itself for additional research. And you're hearing a lot about that. People in all different areas using this code base to test their automated protection techniques and to test their automated analysis.
Yeah, that I have heard from a number of people who actually are more excited about the corpus than anything else out of CGC, because maybe they're either not interested in the security aspects of it or they haven't delved into the results. But just looking at the corpus of challenges, test cases for them, proofs of vulnerability, defined patches, that's a really unique test set that doesn't exist in that form.
Certainly not anything that's openly available.
Yeah, in that scale with open license and all these kinds of things, that's a fantastic resource. And if nothing else, it makes a great benchmark. If the best automated systems in the world could solve 20, as you said, 5 years from now, how many will they be able to solve?
Yeah, it's hard to prove entirely because the code's not secret anymore. But I would love to see, a year from now, 2 years from now, see someone come out and say, "Hey, I built a CRS that can solve
all of them."
All of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the conversation's changed a bit. I think pre-2013 it was which of these independent disciplines is going to be the way forward on drowning exploitable bugs in code. Is static analysis going to get there? Is dynamic analysis going to get there? What is the role of fuzzing? Is the formal methods, SAT solver, symbolic execution community going to cross the finish line? And I think now, post CGC, these were just the pieces, and now we have a single thing, an autonomous system. And what are those autonomous systems going to look like as they progress for the next decade? But I would be surprised if every flaw in the CGC final event corpus is solved by an autonomous system inside of a decade. I would be very surprised. And that may be the one unique thing about this challenge is that we've kind of created a course or a metric for what the autonomous systems that are going to make these look incredibly primitive will look like.
The true impact of CGC will be played out in the years to come as these fledgling technologies grow into autonomous systems capable of guarding real-world networks. For now, let us be emboldened by the lessons of CGC. Autonomy is difficult, yet all 7 teams were able to field viable autonomous prototypes that wrote and managed their own patched software. We saw expert play. Crackadder was solved.
Mechafish was the only team to actually successfully POV against our version of Crackadder.
Teams also used heap exploitation. Zero-day vulnerabilities were identified and patched in minutes. Adversarial cycles. We saw adaptation and counter-adaptation between competing systems, an element of artificial intelligence and learning key to the future of these technologies. And lastly, the CGC resources have been put into the public domain and open sourced. All the data in one of the systems are out there for the researchers and CTF players to use and build on.
Mike, I heard you wrote 3 speeches for the end of the game.
Oh yeah, the job of a program manager is to be prepared. So I had to know what to tell the crowd if our very ambitious equipment plans failed, what to tell the crowd if the competitors were not able to play the game of hackers, and then what to tell the crowd if we succeeded. When you have adversarial artificial intelligence encountering its peers for the first time, one of the highly likely states is just a total systems crash. And it could have been, plurality or majority systems crash, and we wouldn't have gotten any type of realistic or authentic feeling adversarial interaction at all. Maybe you make your own luck, but I got to read the 3rd letter.
Which of those did you spend more time on?
Oh, definitely the first 2. Oh, they're so painful to write. The story of success is actually very easy to tell.